like a costume. You know what I mean? No matter where I go, if I show up in the Vatican, if I show up in the Vatican or I show up anywhere, I'll be wearing my rags. You know what I mean? If I show up in the Oval Office, these are the trousers I turned into the Hulk in. I turned into the Hulk. And I sewed them back up, and I just keep them again in case I have to turn back into the Hulk again. No matter where I go, I'll always be wearing these rags. I get kind of crucified in these rags, and I like to keep them on. It's Token Mystic, sponsored by Adidas these days. Yeah, it's for Zelensky, isn't it? I feel bad for Zelensky and his fashion council. Like what? I kind of broke Zelensky's balls a bit myself. I didn't post it or ever say it. See, Zelensky changes his clothes. I destroyed him in America. Volodymyr. If you think about his name, it's Voldemort. Voldemort Zelensky, and everybody in America was like, his approval rating dropped through the roof because like, oh my god, he's the bad guy from Harry Potter. Like the American validity. Oh my god, he is Voldemort. Look at his name. It's Voldemort Zelensky. Why are we funding to kill Harry Potter and his friends? Anyway, don't you feel bad for Zelensky? I used to break his balls, but I do feel bad. Patient, very patient man. And not speaking his best first language. Very patient man. I feel so bad for him. He's breaking his balls. The Nazi dictator with this semi kind of Kabbalistic symbol. He's not like the Christian dictator. He's like this new other dictator. And they were like, you can't dictate these things. And they go, dictate these things. Anyway, this isn't for Zelensky. This is for you're fired. The guy that barked at Zelensky, Mr. McDonald's. You coming up in here, Mr. McDonald's. All right, and I mean, you're fired. I mean, listen, you're coming up in here in the Oval Office, and we're discussing negotiations, compromising World War III. These are the most tender, delicate negotiations that could ever take place. And you got your man, Trump, barking from the back line. And Trump's kind of okay with this, but you got your man barking from the back line. Why aren't you in a suit? And I used to break his balls over the swell. Why don't you change your clothes, Zelensky? Right? You change your clothes. Yes, obviously I changed my clothes. In the G7 summit, and you kind of see him like this weird, funny character most of the time in the GI clothes. At the same time, if I was a Ukrainian soldier, I wouldn't want to see him in a suit. I definitely wouldn't want to see him in a suit, running around with all the bureaucrats, rubbing elbows, licking balls. I kind of liked the little gig he had. I didn't like the symbol. But, if I was actually forced to wear a suit in the Oval Office, I'd be like one of those Asian suits. Like the guy from Matrix had. Something similar to Zelensky, like a neat little collar. A neat black collar. And he's probably wearing black because of the amount of death that both people have suffered. Probably a lot of American deaths. And an American GI immolated himself or something. Oh no, that was in that's the Mediterranean. Yeah, that's kind of similar, isn't it? The Mediterranean goes through, does it? I don't know. Come here. What's the point? Anyway, not great politics. Yeah, but I felt so bad for Zelensky, and his fashion council, because he's got nothing else to be but thinking about fashion. Yeah. So anyway, that's my bit of justice for Zelensky. You're fired, McDonald's. The big lad that barked in on top of the negotiations for the World War III event and said, why aren't you wearing a suit? You're at the top of the and it's like, why are you barking from the back line in the Oval Office in your suit? And it's like, it's not you're speaking before the president. Like, you interrupted the president. Well, I didn't give clearance to this, but no, I don't turn it on. I didn't turn it on, but I'm not going to turn it off, kind of thing. But at the same time, you spoke over the president. You spoke over the vice president. You barked in from the back line about his fashion sense. And it probably could have changed the negotiations of the world in the Oval Office, barking from the back. So McDonald's, the big guy. And is saying that because I know he eats loads of McDonald's in his suit. He probably eats his McDonald's in his suit. He probably eats greasy fried food in his suit. Mr. McDonald's barking about Zelensky's fashion. I know, I broke his balls as well. Zelensky's fashion is, you must change your clothes. I have no time to change my clothes. Yeah, but you do change your clothes. But at the same time, I'm just gonna say, I'm not taking off my trousers anyway. I'm going to do. You know what's happening? Donald Trump and American ambassadors kind of go to these places like Arab states, and they can't exactly walk in a silk man suit or pajama suit, whatever they call them, monkey suits. They kind of have to throw something on. And now they're like, Trump's in Paris, like he's making all the Arabs come around and throw a big silly cloak over them. Oh, you wear something that like looks like a man suit, a monkey suit, man suit, and they're getting all really touchy about it, and they're breaking their balls like, oh, you can't come up into the Oval Office unless you're wearing a suit, to like theocratic Iranians and stuff, you know what I mean, or Syrians. No, you can't come in here unless you're wearing a suit. Like you can't go into their theocratic kind of countries and walk in leather shoes, like, or something like this. You can't wear like, or something like this. And he's breaking their balls, so like, it is why it's so like exaggerated. Anyway, Donald, I look silly in a suit, and you want to have me over. The rags won't be removed. They've developed an underlayer and fire McDonald's, so Zelensky can have a bit of regret. Very patient man. Very patient man. You can't just say it to us, Mr. Zelensky. It's like, if your country was being killed in the thousands by Russia, you'd want everybody to help. You'd expect everybody to help. My country are being killed by Russia in the thousands, and I kind of expect something similar. But yeah, I don't know. I had a better argument for Zelensky. I just feel bad for him now with his fashion council. I just can't wait to, like, Under Armour or whatever, just like start selling it, It's a weird capitalistic symbol of I don't know, stability. It's a weird square stability. Yeah, fashion council for Zelensky. He does change his clothes. I imagine he changes his underwear. And what I would say is like, he is like, maybe over the costumes, like, why aren't you wearing a suit? It's like, I am not a businessman. I am a president at war. Maybe in the future, in this peaceful time, I wear a suit. I wear a lovely American suit. I wear a lovely in the future. In the future, I'd love to wear a lovely American suit and do business, lots of business. But at the moment, I am a president at war with Russia, and Russia are pretty, Russia. And every every minute, every moment, every gallon of oil. So that's fashion cancel. Anyway, taking off my pants. Alright, Zelensky, fire McDonald's. Trump, you're fired.